Hi, everybody. It's Susie McCray, and I'm the host of The Susie Show, found on susiemccray.com. And today, I'm so excited to have this guest on. And you may be asking, why does Susie have Steve Haska on? Well, Steve, on The Susie Show, I'm looking to have people on that add value back to others and who do something they love in life. And I've known Steve probably more than half of my life, and we'll get into that later. But what I love about Steve is he has a love for Broadway, for concerts, for celebrities. He goes to a lot of book signings, and he enjoys it and shares it now on Facebook, which is it's easier to share on Facebook. And there's a huge following that kind of live vicariously through Steve. And I know because I'm one of them. Who knew? So, and I've also been with Steve at some other events too, which we'll talk about later. But anyway, Steve and I have known each other for years. He started working at Stop and Shop probably about similar time I did. And we opened stores together, we worked together. He's from Western Massachusetts. However, he lives in Mamaroneck, New York. And do you know how long, Steve, it took me to figure out how to say Mamaroneck? And I think it wasn't until you lived there that I understood how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
He lives in New York, and he's very active. And I do know that everyone does enjoy his adventures and the people he has met. So this is just going to be a fun, entertaining type interview. And I'm going to ask Steve a few questions. And we already know that I am probably his favorite celebrity.
Absolutely.
Okay, just making sure. But seriously, we both have a love for Lucille Ball.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. And of course, most people know I get to meet her the year before she died and get to hold her hand, and I cried the whole time. But what I love about Steve's adventures is you could be scrolling through Facebook or whatever, and all of a sudden there's a picture of Bob Denver or maybe Gavin MacLeod, and all of a sudden you're thinking about Murray Slaughter from the Mary Tyler Moore Show or Captain Stubig, and then he's with Marianne and Ginger, and and he just has a knack for finding celebrities, getting his picture taken with celebrities without really stalking them.
Correct. Very
okay. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about why you think you enjoy doing this kind of stuff, Steve, going to the shows and seeing famous people?
Well, it's really the reason why I moved to New York. It's always been the word that my friend Denise Hampson always uses for me is passion. It's always been my passion. It's just something that gives me great enjoyment. I like seeing entertainment stuff, just like you said, whether it be Broadway, live on stage there, or meeting celebrities, going to talk shows, going to concerts, going to athletic events. It's what my passion in life is, actually.
Yeah, so it's kind of a hobby, but it's almost a full-time hobby.
Yes, it definitely can be a full-time hobby because it seems like the past 2 weeks have been crazy for me. It seems like everything always happens all together at the same time. Like there may be a month or 2 or 3 where I have absolutely nothing going on, and then all of a sudden in 2 weeks I got like 10 events to go to in like a 2-week time period or so.
I know, all of a sudden you're in Vegas, then you're back home, then you're in California, then you're all over New York, and you're going. So
it's true.
Which I know people have commented on Facebook like, wow, wow, can't believe it. And you may get some criticism too, but who the hell cares?
That's right. Exactly. I don't care. I'm enjoying life. It's what I like to do. And as long as I'm happy, that's what counts to me.
Right. So somebody would say, Steve, what are you talking about? Well, tell them how many concerts you just went to with your favorite, Cyndi Lauper and Rod Stewart. How
Right.
many?
My favorite performer is Cyndi Lauper. And so just like what I was talking about, within a 14-day period, I had 8 concerts to go to of theirs together. Now,
Mhm.
I've seen Rod Stewart many times before. I would say maybe about anywhere from maybe 6 or 7 times before alone. You know, so it was just a great pairing together.
Mhm.
And most of the time, I do these things at night. So I'm working in the daytime, and then I go to the show at night, drive back home 3, 4, 5 hours, get a few hours sleep, and then it's back at it the next day, back at work, and on to the next show.
Well,
So
you are amazing doing that. I know, and you seem to have that energy level. Now, tell us a little bit about Cyndi Lauper, because I know that you have a special bond with her, and actually you know each other personally now through the years.
yeah, you know, I mean, I first loved her the first time I saw her very first video, which was Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I saw her and Captain Lou plays her dad, and her mom plays her mom in the video, and I just fell in love with the song. And I guess I'm just loyal, I guess, to a person. I've always just loved her, and that was back in like 1983 when you had to watch videos before I even had cable on like Friday night videos, you know, on Friday night, like after the Johnny Carson Tonight Show, you know, once a week they played the music videos, and I just saw it on there and just fell in love with her. And I just, you know, I love the performer. You know, I don't like people at the concerts will always yell out, "I love you," you know, "I love you" to her, and she always says to them, "But you don't really know me," you know. And it's her music that I love.
Sorry, my phone just went off a little snap. I thought I had it shut off.
Yeah, I think
There we go. Sorry about that.
that's okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, with Cyndi, I know that you've been a loyal fan of hers, and you're right. Absolutely. They think they're in love with the person, but they're in love with the performer, or
Right.
they love,
Yes.
or they appreciate what that performer does.
Right, and I think that's a very important distinction to make. And just like you, exactly what you just said, I appreciate the music that she puts out there, and certainly like the charitable things that she does as a person or so. But I can't say that I know her as a person. Like it's not like I'm going over to her house for dinner, you know, or anything
Exactly.
like that. I mean, she recognizes me and knows me by name and things like that. But I don't know her, you know, like I said, like I'm not calling her up on the phone every week or so, you know.
I got you. Now
Yeah.
I see her in the back. It's at her in the back there, and
Yes.
I also see Lucille Ball.
Yes, I have a few things back over in the corner there. One is just it's a signed poster of hers, which I gave fun that was from a fundraiser. And then I also have in the corner one of her platinum albums from her very first album, She's So Unusual, which was her most successful one. And that's a 4 times platinum record of hers that she signed to me, actually. One of my favorite possessions of hers that I have, actually.
Oh, well, that's great. And, you know, we'll be displaying all of these. Now, I see Lucy. Of course, I love Lucy. You and I, that's near and dear to our heart. We both love her. And I know you just bought some scratch tickets. I Love Lucy scratch tickets, and you're a big loser on those scratch.
Connecticut currently has the I Love Lucy $2 scratch tickets, but unfortunately, every single one that I bought was a loser. I didn't win anything at all on them last week.
Okay, so I think people would be amazed at how many celebrities you have met. You know how you'd be out somewhere and people are talking, it's like, oh, who's the most famous person you've met? And people usually have maybe a handful. And if they've really met them, or they just saw them, like they were somewhere and they saw them, or they saw them perform. So I'm gonna really have you dig deep here, okay? So who do you think is the most famous president you've ever met?
Well, most famous president, I've met Bill Clinton,
Yeah.
uh, and I've met Jimmy Carter. I actually have a photo with Jimmy Carter, and this is the type of thing that happens when you're walking down the street in New York City, and Jimmy Carter happens to be on the street also. It's, you know, I've met more than a few celebrities just literally walking down the streets of New York.
So you
And
met both of them then? You met both Bill
oh yeah, Bill Clinton I've met only at book signings though, so I've shaken his hand, spoke to him. But yeah, like I said, I got a photo with Jimmy Carter on the streets of New York actually.
Okay, so now we talk about a president. Now, let's talk a little about Jackie Collins
Okay.
and Joan Collins.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Jackie Collins has passed away. It's
Yes.
been almost 2 years now.
That is correct. Yes. September 19th,
So
2015.
you had a real affection, and you do for Joan.
Yes. Correct.
Jackie, you have a real affection for. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I know when I was calling you back, she's on your answering machine.
Yeah. She actually.
Message.
Jackie actually recorded my voicemail that I will never erase on my phone for me a little bit less than 3 months before she passed away. Actually, and it was the second time that she had actually recorded the voicemail for me, because when she got the new book out, I had her update the message so it was the most current book out. But she was the most wonderful person to me. She did many things for me, like behind the scenes that like nobody knows about. I got a Christmas card from her, one year that she personally wrote. I mean, her handwriting was very distinctive. She wrote every single one of her books longhand. She never used a computer to write any of her books.
Really?
So she had beautiful penmanship, and it's unmistakable. Yeah, and she actually wrote everything by hand, and then she had her assistant actually type it up for her and turn it in.
Oh my goodness, I never knew that. Now, why the affection for Jackie?
Well, it started because I have 3 favorite TV shows of my lifetime. One, as you know, is I Love Lucy.
One has to be Dynasty.
That's right. The other is The Golden Girls. Those are my 3 favorite TV shows. Okay. So in the 80s, of course, Dynasty was huge. And that's how I got introduced to Jackie Collins, was from being a fan of Joan Collins. Okay. And I read the first book of Jackie's that I read was actually called Chances. And it featured her most famous character, Lucky Santangelo, in it. And ever since I read that first book, I've been a fan for life. And what happens is, in my cases, I have 3 favorite celebrities: Jackie Collins, Joan Collins, and Cyndi Lauper. And just from seeing them so many times, they remember you, and they're normal people too. I mean, they appreciate you, and just seeing you so often, they come to remember you. And all 3 of them have actually done things for me personally, and stuff. And the key is, like what you said before, though, is that I'm not stalking, because I would never like cross the line or so. If they don't want to be bothered, or whatever the case is, I understand that, and they'll always be like another timer. So hopefully, So,
and then they've developed a sense of trust with you too, yes. Because you're not a weirdo.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Some people might disagree with you, but thank you very much for saying.
Well, hey, you're talking to Miss Stalker here herself. I love Diane Shore, Deedles, she's a Grammy award-winning jazz vocalist and pianist.
Okay.
I actually love her, and I ended up being part of her fan club, and just every concert I'd go to and talk to her, and eventually she realized that I was harmless. She said, yes. Oh honey, you're harmless.
Correct.
I just really appreciate what she does. So
yes.
You're absolutely right about that. They are human too, and they must feel a sense of, geez, this is nice. It's almost like a familiar face in the crowd, because they probably have people they don't know all the time when they're around.
Correct. And like with Jackie, so every time I would go see her, she would see me, and same thing with Joan. But like with Cyndi Lauper, I mean, I'm gonna say I have lost count, but I'm gonna say that I've been to at least 350 to 400 concerts of hers, at least. And so, So obviously, she does not see me every single time that I'm there. Right. And just with like when she was with Rod Stewart, which she still is currently touring with him, most nights she's not seeing me. I mean, one night I was in Bethel, New York, which is the place of Woodstock, where Woodstock took place, actually. Yeah. And I had a front row seat that night, actually. So she did see me in the audience that night. But the other 7 times, she didn't know I was there, but I go because I enjoy her performances.
Yeah, you're not trying to go just to like meet her.
Right, correct.
Or
correct.
talk to her afterwards, yeah.
No, correct, yes.
Well, you're a loyal person in life, and you're a very true fan. So yeah. That's great. Now, I broke into Joan Rivers' Yeah. What's it called backstage or dressing room?
Okay.
Years
I
Years
okay.
ago, Chateau de Ville, Framingham, went to see her. Gary Shandling was the opening act.
Oh.
Joan Rivers was there with her husband, Edgar.
Mhm.
And I just walked by him with my friend Lisa, and I put my arm around her and talked to her, and she was absolutely lovely.
She is. I've met her. I had met her a few times actually,
Oh,
and
she's great.
she really was. And I remember the last time I met her, I had said to her, it's so nice, to see you again. And her comment to me was, "Oh, it's so nice to be seen by such a handsome young man or so."
Oh,
I know, and that was the last time that I actually got to talk to her.
oh, I
Yeah, she
know.
really was very sweet. She
Yeah,
really.
she was nice to me. She was very nice to me. And then the police came and escorted me and my family.
Oh, no. And she had a Broadway too. Actually, she loved Broadway, and I saw her at openings and stuff on Broadway too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit real quick. We both work for the same supermarket company, Stop and Shop, and we were put to a task in the early, late 90s, I think it was.
1996, because that's what brought me to New York, actually.
Oh, okay.
I remember that.
So we had merged with another supermarket chain, and we had to go set up the stores, and you were down there, Steve, and I remember Terrytown.
Yes, that is correct. Terrytown.
Taking that store and like changing it over to a Stop and Shop. I think, what do we have, 4 or 5 hours? I mean, 4 or 5 days.
5 days, right. I think they closed on a Saturday, and then we had Sunday through like Thursday and open on Friday, probably.
So
Yes.
we're all down there and working long days, and we decided to take a day off.
Yes.
Which was rare, because when we were there, it was like that wasn't heard of. But we took the whole crew, you and I, to the Rosie O'Donnell show.
That is correct, yes. And if memory serves me correct, I think that the episode that we went to, was it, did you go with me to the one that Carol Burnett was on? Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, because I would say I went to about 10 of the episodes. But that's what I thought, is that Carol Burnett, another one of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
Absolutely love her. And yeah, that was one of
the train. And Steve, you were great. I mean, you just made it happen. We were in standby. We all got tickets. And I think I went a couple more times with you. Kim and I went with you one time. Yep. I still have my little things that you go out into
the koosh balls.
And the lollipop, the motorized lollipop.
I still have them too. The lollipop, after 20 years, of course, doesn't exist anymore, but I do still have the battery-operated turner for the lollipop, actually.
Yes. Yeah. And then you and I went to see Estelle Parsons and Lucy Arnaz.
Yes, that was on Broadway. Grace and Glory, I believe, was the name of the show. Yes, that was very good.
I enjoyed that tremendously.
Yes, and that was I remember that day very well, because I had double booked myself that day, actually, because we had a matinee for Lucy Arnaz on Broadway there at 2 o'clock. And then I had a front row seat back in Hartford for Celine Dion that night, actually. So I had to race literally from the theater to get to the Meadows Music in Connecticut there in Hartford to see Celine Dion with a front row seat, which I wasn't letting that pass up, that's for sure.
No, she's out in Vegas now a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so now you have all these TV show characters. Now, all of a sudden I'll see your Steve and his celebrity friends. A lot of these shows that we grew up with.
Yeah.
I mean, where do they gather? At the same place?
Well, actually, you might laugh, but yeah. What they do is just like Comic-Con is very popular these days, and I'm not into the comic book type thing or so, but they have similar type conventions at that, where a lot of actors, do go in, and that's what it is. Now, most people go because they prefer getting their autograph, the celebrity's autograph, and they collect the autographs or so. To me, honestly, for the most part, I really don't care about autographs at all. I enjoy meeting the person and getting my photo taken with the celebrity. And so that's what I always do, of course, is have the photos, and that's what you're, referring to, of course, here.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would say, and that's only happened, I would say, like within the past 10 years or so, where I've gone to like those type of shows And this past year, I even took my mother to one in Chicago, actually, and surprised her. She didn't know that one of her favorite actors from her favorite miniseries of all time, Richard Chamberlain from the Thorn, was going to be there. Yeah, and she was shocked.
I love the Thornburns. Dr. Kildare.
Yes, Dr. Kildare. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had never seen the Thornburns before. I knew it was her favorite. And so like a few weeks before we went out, I watched the miniseries too, and I can see why she loved it. It is a wonderful
That
miniseries.
was a big thing. We watched that. That was like all around the Dynasty times.
Yes. Yeah.
Those shows were on. Okay,
Correct.
so if you were to say, well, a lot of these celebrities that I don't want to say are has-beens, but some of them are. I mean, this is a way that they generate some income too.
Correct.
They go
Absolutely.
and they write a book, they sign autographs, and you pay to get an autograph.
Right. And I know exactly what you're saying, because for the most part, I'm not going to one of these things and I'm not getting Jennifer Aniston, at one of these things or so. A lot of the people are people who have peaked or, are beyond their peaks, that were huge stars maybe in the 70s or my decade, the 80s or so, and now, like you said, these are things that they do for like extra income now or so, yes, absolutely.
Like, what's his name from Dynamite?
Oh, yes, Jimmy Walker. Yes. My friends and I, we saw him in concert at, it was either Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods, actually one time. And he was a disappointment in concert, but we had seen, a few months before, we had seen Sherman Hemsley from the Jefferson also. And he was phenomenal.
George Jefferson.
Yeah, George Jefferson. He was great. But yeah, Jimmy Walker was a bit of a letdown, actually. Comedy.
So let's get back to a few of your favorites, and then we're going to wrap this up, because I know everyone loves seeing all of the pictures we're displaying, and
Okay.
It's amazing. Like, I know you keep a lot of things. I know a lot of pictures of things, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's really my main thing, is that I love the pictures with the celebrities.
Yes, and I don't know how you keep everything, but I saw you post your first paycheck at Stop and Shop too.
Yeah. If you've been in my apartment, I know you can see I don't really.
Been there a long time.
Yeah. I don't really throw things out, so I do have a lot of.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you take pictures and then toss, but.
No, I don't. I don't toss anything. No.
Okay. All right, maybe Steve Haska starring in Hoarders.
Yes, correct.
Celebrity Hoarders.
Yes.
Okay. So, who was one of your favorite people that you have met, that you engaged with? I know you've met a lot, but one memorable that really like tickled your funny bone, or was really just as funny in person?
I don't know. I mean, that's really hard to say, because like I've said my favorites, another favorite of mine who I got to meet only one time, actually got to speak to her, but she was wonderful to me, was Whitney Houston. And
wow.
she did a CD signing. And earlier that day, I was at TRL, which was the old MTV show. And she had handed out a few signed CDs, and I had actually gotten one of them. It was literally like a fight of people grabbing for them. And I had on an airbrushed T-shirt, kind of like the Rosie O'Donnell one that I have. And I had an airbrushed T-shirt on. And when I went up to the table for her to sign my CD, she looked at it and she said to me, that's nicer than even anything I have of myself. And that was just that was just a great moment to me. That meant so much to me, that she said that to me, actually.
Yeah. It's so sad,
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I remember I saw her in concert when she first started,
Right.
promote, being in concert. I saw Robin Williams too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And
I saw him at benefits, yeah.
Okay, so who was the nastiest?
Well, I've got two people that come to mind, because certainly you're not the first person to ask me that. And the two that come to mind, although I wouldn't say nasty, but just was a real disappointment, was Jack Klugman. And that was at a book signing. And it was like, yes, Jack Klugman. He just really did not want to be there. And I don't understand why he would agree to these things if he really, I mean, that's the impression I got. He just did not want to be there. Okay. But the person I would say was the nastiest to me was Lauren Bacall. Yes, Lauren Bacall. And I will tell you why. So I'm at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. This is 1997. And I'm at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, which is actually the hotel where Whitney Houston died in. Okay.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, and they have the Golden Globe Awards are held there every year, and they had a award show there, which was called the International Achievement in Arts Awards, and Celine Dion was there. She was one of the honorees, and really, it's just a room full of celebrities. That's all it is. They get up, to talk, and they're there, about the honorees and stuff like that. But you can buy tickets to it, unlike like the Golden Globes or so. And so afterwards, you just mingle with the celebrities. That's it. I mean, you have dinner, and then you actually just go around and you can talk to the celebrities, and they're all there. And I went up to Roddy McDowell because I wanted a photo with Roddy McDowell. And he happened to be talking to Lauren Bacall. Now, I waited. I know, how to act, like we said earlier. So, I wasn't being rude or anything like that. I waited for them to finish their conversation. And I asked him if I could have a photo with him. And he was very nice and said, yes, of course. And Lauren Bacall assumed that I wanted the photo with her too, which I really didn't, to be honest. I know, maybe shocking, but I really had no desire, for her. So she gets in the photo with us. So I stand in the middle, if I remember correctly, and I put my arm around both of them. And she turns to me and says, "It is not proper to touch a celebrity." And I didn't even want the photo with her to begin with or so. So of course I took my hand off of her.
Of course, you're a gentleman.
Yeah, and that was it. But yeah, that would be, I would say that would qualify as the nastiest that a celebrity.
Yeah, that's really not that bad.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, right. I mean, worse things have happened, but yeah.
Oh, the hell with her. You got Roddy McDowell in the picture.
That's right. I did. Correct. Yeah. Yes. And then I saw Lauren Bacall a few times later. She was at in the audience at Madison Square Garden at a Barbra Streisand concert.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, never got to speak with her again, but that's fine.
Don't put your arm around her.
No.
When I met Lucille Ball, she won the Hasty Pudding Woman of the Year award, and I waited outside to see her, and no one went up to her, and there were like hundreds of people chanting. She was in the back of a convertible with fake fur and a fur muff, and she had these big glasses, and she was like this, like overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. All of these people were there, and they got me to her, and she leaned down, and I gave her a picture of me dressed as her at Halloween. And I wrote her a note on the back, and she held my hand, and she's like, asked my name, and then looked at the picture, and in her rough voice, she, "Oh dear, that's so cute," and then she blew me a kiss. And I was standing there, like I started crying. Here's a legend. Yep. And she took the picture, and typical Lucy, it's like she didn't know, there was no one helping her. She didn't know, she stuffed it in her fur muff. And blew another kiss. And I ran all the way to my car with adrenaline. I didn't know why I felt so lousy all day. I ended up having a fever and strep throat when I got home. But yeah, there's some people that are just, she was like lovely. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I've met a few of my fair share too of celebrities, but I know you enjoy it, Steve. I also know your Christmas cards. You never know what celebrity you're going to see Steve with on his Christmas cards. And it's so enjoyable to see you enjoying it, like you said. You enjoy it because of what they do and what they add to your life. Right. And you're not trying to be their best friend. You're just enjoying them for the celebrity and the artist, whatever they do. And I think it's great. And a lot of us sit. Oh, I'm a busy girl.
I see that.
Yeah, a lot of them I lost my train of thought. Oh, a lot of us just sit and enjoy watching and living vicariously through what you do, and you add value back to all of us. And you obviously love this because this isn't just a short-lived thing. You have done this your whole life. I've seen you on the Today Show out front.
Yes. Oh, yes. Correct. You named the show. I mean, I've probably been there. All the talk shows and the game shows. I went to one of my favorite actresses, obviously, is Betty White from the Golden Girls. I went to the final episode that was taped of Hot in Cleveland. And Carol Burnett, which I didn't know when I got the tickets, but Carol Burnett was a special guest that week.
Oh, yeah, I remember that you
Yeah.
went. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's just it's what I like, what I like doing actually.
And it's fun.
It is. Oh my God, it's so much fun. Yes, yes. I could probably count on one hand the number of times I've had a bad experience or so. Yeah, it's definitely fun.
Lauren Bacall, but
Yeah, Lauren Bacall, correct.
well, the last thing is this whole Yankee thing. Okay, so now we're Massachusetts, we're like Red Sox, but you're a huge Yankee fan, and you know what? I respect that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't hold it against you
Yes.
because I know you're happy for us if we're Red Sox fans. So I'm happy.
Correct. I may not be correct. I may not be happy if they win, but I'm happy for you as a fan of the team. Correct. Yes, that is an accurate statement.
So who have you met on the Yankees?
I have met Derek Jeter. I met Alex Rodriguez. I met Mariano Rivera. I met Joe Torre. Those would be the ones of the current players. I met a few old timers. Too. I actually won a contest one time at Yankee Stadium just from texting on the phone where I had dinner with a few of the old timers. Actually, Mickey Rivers, and there was someone else too whose name I can't think of at the moment. But those would be the more memorable names of the Yankees that I've actually met, spoke to, talked with, had a picture taken with. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we won't use that against you. Okay.
Okay.
I still love you.
And that is one of my other passions, which I didn't say before, is the baseball. I've actually been to a home game for every single team in all of Major League Baseball. So I've been to every stadium. Yeah.
Wow.
In all of baseball, which is more than 30, of course, because now like the Montreal Expos, they don't exist anymore. And some of the stadiums obviously have been, changed, new stadiums and stuff like that. But yeah, I've actually seen a home game for every single team.
Okay, so I have a brilliant idea. You got to write a book.
Oh, I don't know about that. My skills are math, not English at all.
Well,
That'll never.
Surprise! I know a ghostwriter. I'm going to hook you up. Now, you write a book. You put these pictures in. It would be a good coffee table book. I'm telling you, Steve.
Coffee table, yes, coffee table book. Yes, no words involved, just pictures.
Pictures and some snippets of your experience.
Yeah, maybe a little bit about the experience of meeting the person.
The ideas are just flowing on the Susie show.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate it, your time and coming in. I know that everyone watching is probably getting a hoot out of things and the pictures and everything. And I just want to thank you and keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, who the heck cares? You're having a ball. You're enjoying it. You're doing it for the enjoyment. And now you're going to Europe too.
I am. Yeah, I leave 3 days from today. Actually, I'm going to Poland for 2 weeks, which is where my father was from. I went once with my father when he was alive, and now this time I'm not visiting family. This time I'm just going on a tour of the.
I heard it's beautiful.
Yes. Oh, of all the vacations I've ever taken, that is my favorite vacation ever. Actually, with my dad. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to have you back on around the holidays, so maybe we can do a special on the Susie Show to pick what Christmas card you're going to do this year.
Yeah, but it'll have to be sent out first because I could never reveal that before it's actually sent out. Although I do know what it will be, but I could never reveal that, though.
Okay, so maybe we'll do a contest and we'll put different pictures up and people can vote, okay, which one they like the best.
Okay.
Okay? All right, well, I love you, Steve. It's so good to see you.
All right, good chatting, Susie.
Okay, and have fun in Poland, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.